Hello everyone, welcome back to another Age of Empires 4 commentary. I am Beyond. Thank you so much for the support in the past couple videos, and my channel as a whole. I really do appreciate it. If you are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe. We're trying to get to 500, so let's make that happen. Now let's get right into this game. Today we have Beasty up top in the yellow as the English, and across the way we have 3DB in the orange as the Malians. I'll leave both of these players' socials in the description below. You can find them both on Twitch a lot of the time. Now, there's also a good amount of history between these two players. They played in a lot of tournaments together. The last tournament, Beasty was ousted by B in a best of 7 series. It was really, really awesome to watch. Both players played incredible that weekend. That was in the EGC. I believe it was the EGC 2 turns ago, not the Africa one. That was a 2v2 one. The one before that, the Elite Classic. And yeah, let's see if Beasty can exert some revenge on the ladder. And when I mean revenge, I just mean physically in winning. There's no malice or any weirdness between the two, I don't believe. Not trying to get into any Age of Empires 4 drama here. I think it's just really good players going at it. Now, in this matchup, the Malians are currently at a 60% win rate over 148 games in Challenger or Conqueror 3 and above. So, honestly, it's pretty much, I think it's one of those matchups where if you're playing on the correct map, it can be really advantageous. And honestly, it's one of those things, too, where the Malians are getting a lot of pressure from early on, like the Mongols, stuff like that. That can quickly burn down these houses over here that are surrounding the pit mines. But the English, if they don't go for that early barracks, which we don't see out of BC at the current moment, there's not going to be really much they can do to burn these down rather quickly. So the Malian players should be able to get into that feudal age and even into that castle age pretty easily and sustainably, and get those javelin throwers out to get an impact from those inevitable longbowmans from across the way. As I say that, there's an Abbey of Kings, so it's a king coming, not the inevitable longbowmans. They might be coming anyways, but not nearly as fast with the Council Hall. So we're going to see some Abbey of Kings action. Maybe we're going to see maybe a quicker castle age out of BC to get up to those knights, and then use that king to do a little bit of healing and some raiding. With this map, it's pretty much just like 3 lanes essentially. You have to control each one. English are pretty good at controlling them, especially with their landmarks like the White Tower and the Berkshire Palace. Almost everyone in the pro level, though, unless it's really dire straits, go for not the White Tower. For some reason, I'm just drawing an absolute blank at the current moment. It's not the Abbey of the Kings. It's oh my goodness, what is it? I have it somewhere written down. I'm not gonna get. Wait, hold on. It's around here somewhere. I don't know. I can't find it anywhere. I'm struggling. King's Palace. Oh my goodness, that took way too long. But luckily for me and you guys, nothing has really happened just yet. So me struggling, and I needed to find that. So I'm sorry if you heard any little rufflings. I will listen to it afterwards and make sure that there's no impediment on the sound quality or any spikes in sound before I release this video. That being said, the English, I actually just dropped my first ever build order, and there was one on the English. We were following a Conqueror to Diamond level player through a build order. So if you guys haven't already, go check that out. I'll leave the link in the description below. It's a great English build, and I would highly recommend it, especially to climb that ladder, especially in the summertime when there's not as many tournaments going on, and you have some free time to get I was just gonna say get that grind on, but my goodness, that does not sound great. But you know what? Go climb the ladder, enjoy yourselves. I'm going to be playing some ranked for sure. Have some interesting content coming for you. I'm trying to mix it up a little bit from just the standard, but I will always continue to do the standard cast commentaries. I love them. And if you enjoy these casting type of games and maybe a little bit of ranked 1v1s, definitely come and check out my Twitch stream. Link will be in the description below as well. We do see Warrior Scouts coming out for B, so I haven't seen these in quite some time. Happy to see them once again. I'm sure Beasty's not happy to see them once again, but overall, in a good spot. It looks like this wall is going to go up just in time, and if B does get through, it's going to be a really rough time for him. It looks like, I don't know how that didn't get through. Is that thing stuck now? I think it's stuck. Oh no. Let's see if it can get out. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, yeah, it's definitely stuck. Oh my goodness. Beasty's probably laughing. Oh no. It's not stuck. So it's just in a very weird position. But those English villagers are always brutal to deal with as the Malian scouts, because as you can see, they can just bring out those weapons, and they're actually going to take down another scout just like that. They bring out the bows. They go, you know what? We've been to class before as well. That being said, B is doing some annoyance in terms of actually like getting some damage over here. It's gonna look like he's gonna finally find his way in onto one villager kill. Beasty, I think, was moving out the map over here, trying to navigate that king into 3 Malian scouts. So did lose one villager, but it looks like actually Beasty on the other side of the map was able to take out a villager as well, as you can see from the bottom side of the map. So 1-to-1 at the current moment. The king is providing that little extra harass that normally would not be able to as the English player. And we see some horsemen coming out just to provide a little bit of extra protection. And the king can also heal these guys up, just like the Malian scouts do, which makes them so annoying to deal with. So it's actually a really nice counterplay here by Beasty for going for this Abbey of the Kings over here. And remember, Abbey of the Kings also heals up around it. So if you ever want to do a engage or a fight and that you're on the back foot as the English and you have the Abbey of the Kings, just try to fight underneath that landmark and you will be sitting in a pretty good spot and usually dropping it by a town center. And the English town centers, as we know from pretty much everywhere, the town centers are absolutely juiced. It's like having a machine gun with arrows on top and always at your disposal. We have a king finding some warrior scouts over here and these horsemen. Looks like we're going to be able to finally get the job done. No, they're going to let that one run away. And this one's going to be the one where they finally focus up. But it's so annoying. These scouts are so good at getting away. B is doing a great job at microing. And he's now stealing all these deer and bringing them all the way back home, so he never runs out of food. This is kind of like the traditional Malian style that we saw in the last season. It definitely got a little bit nerfed moving forward, but B is showing that you can still pull off some really great things with these warrior scouts. And it looks like that BC is now moving in on this pit mine over here. It looks like the lone villager over here went down as well. And these warrior scouts are a little bit preoccupied. We also have a town center, so two town center Malian into the English. Now, I've seen this once before with Cup. It didn't go so well when they were facing into the Ottomans. But obviously the English player, especially in Beasty in this situation, doesn't look like he's going to be going for much early harass. And some like early all-in, I mean, not harass, he's harassing at the current moment. Early all-in, so it should be in an okay spot in comparison to what it was before, because that last game that we saw the Malians go for 2 TCs, it was not looking too great, but that was with a feudal age all-in, which is always going to be really tough for any civilization to deal with. If you go for that second TC or the third TC, you're obviously going to have no units, and they're going to have a ton of them. There is 8 warrior scouts on the map, and BC's in responding with 7 horsemen. And it looks like these warrior scouts are actually going to get surrounded on one of these horsemen. Horseman's able to get out of dodge and get back to the safety of the king and the Abbey of the Kings, which is going to provide a lot of nice healing. So usually the Malian player gets a big advantage with the healing ability of these warrior scouts, but right now BC's actually providing his own healing and his own little armada. Now the king obviously got some nice changes for this season. I'm sure you're well aware of them, but he can now finally heal himself. I feel like that was the big thing that we were missing beforehand. It looks like we're gonna get a nice little surround onto this one. They're gonna drop the deer, but I think this is gonna actually go down. Oh my god, B is in his bag right now, getting out of that one lickety split, and just by the skin of his teeth, with I think like 10 or something health. And another warrior scout has been saved. That deer has been brought into a position where it's definitely going to be B's eventually. BC's now trying to draw them out. They will I believe the Warrior Scouts will lose this if they straight on engage, especially with the king involved. There's a lone archer here just to provide some emotional support. It's moving all the way over here, getting some shots in the pit mine. But this is a nice counter, and we also see the sofas coming out as well. But this is good. Focus on these houses. Yes, if you can't get the pit mine, go for it. But the pit mine has 1500 health. These houses have 500 health, and they go down way easier. 50 range damage, as you can see, the same type of thing. That's why also range units do absolutely no damage to buildings. If you ever wondered, yes, 50 versus range is quite bananas. But it makes sense, though. Can you imagine if Amazon Moment could take out buildings? That would be nuts. I believe Beasty knows that this is a thing that's happening right here. Interesting position as well by B, including the TC in the range. I'm not sure if that helps or hurts the gold house or mining camp within build influence. So I don't think the town center counts. So that is missing out on a little bit of boost over there, but not the end of the world. It looks like B is actually just going to concede this. Only has 5 sofas out in the map, and this army is still pretty scary. There's King's Palace, as we assumed Beasty would actually go in this matchup. It makes the most sense from what we see. Here's the sofas. The sofas would do a very nice job in that, especially with these Warrior Scouts, and that TC absolutely ripping one apart. Some unfortunate micro there by Beasty, didn't quite see and got in range of the town center. But is able to pull most of his forces back, and B is now chasing him away with a lot of sofas. We have javelins on the way. Javelins are so good into the English. Definitely one of those things where you hate to see it as the English player, but you love to see it as the Malians. Now these sofas are going to chase them all the way home. We have a little barricade being made over here for Beasty. And the good news for Beasty is that every trade that he does now, it's actually in an advantageous position for him because he has the king and the abbey that will heal his units. The sofas are permanently damaged. They're going to be like that forever. That's a Warrior Scout. That's why I was like, how is that thing healing? That is not a sofa. It's a Warrior Scout. We have the King's Palace defending this gold mine over here, which is really, really nice for Beasty. And now Beasty's found this this middle gold mine. I can see why they placed, why B placed his TC over here. It can rain arrow fire down upon the opposing player and making short work of it, which is always really good. That being said, the sofas have arrived, and the sofas are quite tanky. They're able to dish a lot of damage without taking much on their own. Now, if BT can actually kite backwards at this point, it's going to be really, really good for him in this position because, as I mentioned before, all of these horsemen can go back, get a top off to full, and all this damage to the sofa is all permanent damage. As you can see, they're all gathering around the abbey. There's some knights being involved as well. It's a very common playstyle right now for the English. Get up to a castle age, and then with the king out on the map, you have like kind of mini French knights, which is always good. This one poor villager being asked the tall task of setting up a mid wall through the entire thing. Beasty's having none of it, and is going to make quick work of that villager. There you go. Done and dusted. A nice little cheeky throw there. Actually does cost some materials for B. This villager is running for the hills. Actually does get away. And now BT's in not a great position, but those are Warrior Scouts versus Castle Age Knights. Not going to be something you're looking to see. The English, when they're able to get to Castle Age, get the second TC alongside of it because they go up to Castle Age and get the TC at the same time. It does feel a little too good to pass up at this point for the English. Just like a free TC plus the age up. Most civilizations need to do either one or the other, so the fact that the English get a little bit of both is just so nice, and it feels so good. That's a lot of sofas though. 16 sofas on the map. This is an engage that I think B wants and BT does not. BT's now running away with those knights. If he can save the knights, he's in a good position because the knights are so expensive, and he's not so concerned about those horsemen. As you can see, the knight numbers are getting pretty high, and here comes the crossbowman trying to deal with this sofa mass, and javelin throwers are in the back, but there's only 10 of them. Nothing too insane or nothing too crazy. And it looks like we're going to be having another engage out front, but remember, it in range of the Abbey of the Kings, and it's out of combat, of course, but each time this kind of interaction happens, they can step out of combat quite quickly and then instantly get the heal up as you go. So just a quick little, just as you can see, just there they go. All that healing, trying to deal a little bit of damage, and they're going to be falling back as much as they possibly can, healing as much as they can, because to get back into combat, they actually have to be engaged upon or shot. So if you are able to kite back, you're able to keep healing even if they are quote-unquote running away from combat. And there we go. That's a lot of sofas though for B. 20 sofas are stockpiling up front. I will say the Abbey of the Kings is a nice beefy front line almost. Like it's a pretty big wow, I've not seen the Grand Corral in a long time. We'll go back and see that back here. Where is it being dropped down? The Grand Corral. Nearby cattle provide 20 food per minute. So B is going to be absolutely cooking in terms of food production, especially with all those early deer. And now he's going to switch to full-on cattle. There's the Abbey of the Kings providing that, like I said, that pretty beefy front line for a landmark. 5,000 health up front. So luckily all these stables are protected and all that. B's going to be falling back just a little bit. Probably going to be waiting for this to ding up. Oh, it looks like, is this going to be saved? It is. It looks like, oh no, oh my god. That was actually closer than I'll lead you to believe. It was close enough for me, for my reaction. That was like a second or two away from getting absolutely bamboozled. The Knights did get a very nice charge on the broadside of that army, and they're still feudal age, as you can see. All the upgrades are coming in over here. So that was a great engage there by Beasty, knowing that he had the castle age advantage. And these sofas are going to be digging up to that next level very soon. But before that, right now, this is exactly when you want to engage. 16 castle age knights are bearing down, and there's the sofa upgrade. They're coming in and they're getting that upgrade armor, and there it is. They're veteran sofas now. They're feeling like they're in a lot better position. This is an absolute banger of a game though. 2 TCs. We're already past 17-minute mark. No one's clearly in the lead. I will say BC is very clearly in the lead at the current moment in terms of military. Those 16 knights are so valuable, and they're going to be always fresh. They're like fresh out of the box every time, because they're going to go back, they're going to heal up. And this crossbowman mass behind them is starting to get not too big, but we also have some spears added in, which is very nice. They're still feudal age spears, but the upgrade is coming, and we're getting that range defense level 2 to deal with these javelin throwers. And these knights are going to be able to withstand a lot of damage. Another relic is going in the relic shed, the monastery, if you will. Just another one up on the shelf to gain some of that free money, 159 per minute. We have BC constructing his own wall, just so there's not an easy counterattack there from B. And B is also throwing up walls on each side just to get a little bit more control. BC did a nice job of walling this off over here so that he can actually navigate a little bit if the sofas do come running. I think we've all been at the point where we leave this up here, we forget about it, and all of a sudden there's 5 sofas in there, and they're absolutely destroying all your villagers. Now we do see that BC is able to find an absolute freebie over here. This is going to be 4 gifted to the good and instantly taken down. B, unfortunate there, did not get the full wall off. BC will take that donation anytime. Speaking of donations, BC is going to give one right back. Obviously not the same as 4 villagers, but still a gift nonetheless to the B god over here. You know, just wanted to say hi, and unfortunately the monk was not welcomed with open arms, as you know, they rarely are in this game. No one's really welcome with any open arms. We do see the sofas now moving in onto this farm transition from the English. If BC can move these things over here, move this range unit over here, the crossbowman and spearman mass, they can get some nice pot shots off from behind this wall. And here they go. It looks like these scouts are also coming in at full force. And it looks like we're going to be seeing some horsemen run out there and then immediately run back like, wait, I don't want any of that. That sounds like a lot. And it looks like we're also going to have an engage over here and some harass from all of these knights. Here's the rain mass. We also have a keep going up. BC was on the down low, sneaking up a keep in the backhand side. These knights are now running rampant. They're going to go in onto all of these pastures. BC is going to see the corral over here, and going to be absolutely roasty toasty all these villagers, up to 12 kills at this point, and even more going down now. As you can see, a bunch of them are stuck in between a bunch of knights. Knights get 16 kills, and if BC sees this, this is exactly what he's be going for. B's going to have to run away at this point, but BC's now also losing a lot of these knights, but was able to defend his base on the backhand side, and it looks like we're going to continue to see the Knight Masters. There's only 8 in here though for knights, I think. Yeah, 8 or 9. So is able to save actually a few over here, which won't be too bad. And now BC's going to be also moving into the middle of the map. One knight is actually in the backline over here doing a lot of damage. Another knight is coming in to deal. It's just so annoying to deal with this many knights. And now BC finds the other one as well. I actually don't know who wins this fight, 5 knights or 6 sofas. We're not going to get to find out because now it's down to 4 knights. But they do find another villager. Beasty is just absolutely harassing at every turn. And even more villagers going down because now Beasty's army is down through the middle, taking down this middle part over here. Sofa's going to be running headlong into these spearmen, which is not what you want to see at all. And finally, the crossbowmen have decided to wake up on the backhand side, and they started to pepper down onto this army in the middle of the valley. You can see these javelin throwers are moving in and doing the best they possibly can. They're getting a lot of nice value, a lot of nice pot shots as this army tries to squeeze through the smallest gate in the land. That's a lot of people trying to fit through a very small area. BC's now massing his troops outside at the front, and it looks like B's now going to be one to counter push. And we have men-at-arms in the front. I was trying to figure out, I was like, what are those? Men-at-arms are also provided in the front. That one villager is no longer for this world and is able to get that tower. I think BC was able to cancel it just in time. We now have the spearmen getting in onto these sofas, which is exactly what you want to see. If you are BC, now what you want to see is B, but B has a lot of sofas, 39 at this point, but that number is dropping pretty rapidly. Javelin throwers are sitting at a steady 26. We're now slowly starting to drop in the backhand side, but sofas are starting to get decreased in numbers. But at the same time, BC is also running low on front line. More front line is being kind of stationed out from this base. The good news about fighting on your base is that you're always going to have those defender bonuses, and the English are fighting in the network of castles. B with the very aggressive gold mine. As you can see, the villagers just in Beasty's base, but B's going, you can't stop it, there's no way. But Beasty's starting to really push back at this point, and there's only 15 javelin throwers left and 15 sofas, but I don't see where they are. They're starting to slowly come across the map. It looks like the production buildings are a little bit lagging behind, but they'll be getting there. BC is doing a good job at massing out these spearmen. It's the perfect counter into this entire mass. B is now actually throwing down stables out front. Wants it to feel like he is in his own base producing these sofas, and they're getting here just in time. This is going to be an absolute bloodbath. It's just essentially running soldiers in, running troops in at all costs. BC is actually holding the front line, which I'm actually pretty surprised by. It's looking like these spearmen are actually quite tanky and doing some nice trades onto these sofas. But BC's going to finally have to fall back, and he's probably in a little bit of disbelief that B decided to drop 4 forward stables right out front. B's looking for that. B's looking for that sweet ocean front property. I know there's no oceans on here. I just couldn't think of what else to say, and I'm near it, and I'm from the ocean, so it's just the first thing that came to my mind. But let's get that English. I don't know, that England front property. That doesn't sound. That sounds horrible. I'm gonna keep it though. And now B is running in onto the King's Palace. We're looking over here. They're going back. They're trying to scout that Mangonel. Mangonel gets a nice pot shot. These Sofa are trying to run in and get it at all costs. But another nice Mangonel shot is done onto these javelin throwers. The Mangonel has lived somehow. It's running now into its death. It's like, you know what? I did my job. 2 shots and I'm done. That's all I need. We have another keep being thrown up from Beasty. Beasty's just trying to hold this front line. I think if Beasty can just hold this initial attack, he should be in an okay spot. Sofas are trying to get in on these villagers, but some nice placement here by Beasty makes it so that they really can't even get through, and a few spearmen are able to cut off the entire thing. Another Mangonel is out on the map. It's also finding it kind of hard to be like, yo, guys, these streets are a little bit narrow. That's all right. I'll find my way through, and eventually it does find its way through, and the Mangonel is going to start to look over here and go, okay, I'm going to take some pot shots on these villagers. And there it is, 35 villagers have been killed. And here comes the sofas yet again. It's getting some nice damage off. We do have a springhold tower up front. So actually B is thinking about of everything and is starting to throw lasers. Another toll outpost has another siege implement. That thing was some range. You see how far that thing traveled? And just throwing just the Tom Brady of towers right now. Look at these things, just absolutely peppering anything that pops out front. We're going to need to see a trebuchet coming out soon. We see 2 of them over here for Beasty behind the English base, which is going to be really, really tough to deal with. And B's going to have to dive upon the English town center and 2 keeps, which is not going to be good at all. And there's the trebuchets. They're still behind their own town centers, and they're firing upon over here. These javelin throwers are actually very, very tanky, so it's actually looking... these are not nearly as scary as your normal archers would be into something like this town center. That one mangonel was like, hey guys, I'm going to go check it out. Actually, I'm gonna fall back. It's been real. I appreciate it. I'm going to head back here into the classic English turtle. We have a bunch of farms over here, safe and sound. We've almost exhausted this entire gold vein. I picked a good time to come check it out. But B's just building out front. He's like, you know what? I'm good. I like it here. I'm going to stay. No problem at all. Now, Beasty has finished off the 2 towers up front. So now we're sitting in a very good spot. The mangonel is just going to be able to free fire upon the peasants below, if you will. It's going to be a really, really rough time for B. He's going to need to get this mangonel lickety split. And there's the springholds actually pop it, one tap it. Instantly, another springhold goes down. And now the springholds are fighting each other. It looks like this one's being healed by villagers. And it's going to be able to take down this next springhold over here. So B still has siege superiority. But that's a lot of knights. And that's a lot of men-at-arms. And they're starting to roll in. And these yellow men-at-arms are starting to do a lot of damage. B decides to dip out, but he took 7,000 gold from that forward gold mine. So B is sitting on an incredible amount of gold. And here comes the Mustafi warriors as well to deal with some of these men-at-arms. They're only H2, so they're going to need a quick upgrade, a quick makeover, if you will. And they'll get that. There they go. They're getting their makeovers, so they should be in a good spot. And also we're taking down all this forward production from B. I absolutely love B's playstyle. It's so much fun to watch. So when I saw these 2 duking out on the ladder, I knew I had to cast this game. Beasty plays that more traditional style and is so good and methodical. Very rarely makes any major mistakes. But B is one of those people that can make even the best make mistakes, because he just puts up such random things and does random and unexpected things, but it really works with his level of micro and feel for the game. So this has been an absolute banger to watch. We have the Berkshire Palace going down out front. The sacred site's also taken away. I don't see the timer anywhere. I wonder where that happened. Where's the timer? Oh, my bad. He doesn't have this one. I assumed he had this one. BC's actually thrown up the stone walls on each side, so it's going to be only the middle. That's the only where they're going to be getting anything. But B has only this gold left. He needs this gold to last a long time, or else it's going to be really, really rough for him. That will be the last major gold vein that he can possibly get. B is brandishing quite the large army. Beasty is completely maxed out, which is why he's able to go Imperial Age without a problem, without a care in the world. We have mangonels getting in position as well. Here comes another tower. This Berkshire Palace has that unlimited range with those arrows. We have all the upgrades in the world coming up for this thing. It's going to be able to pepper you from downtown. B is going to be in a really rough spot because he does not have nearly enough gold to actually go Imperial Age, because of course so this is actually, I would say he has a nice sized army. Here's the final engage. It looks like we're going to be having it upon this sacred site in the shadow of the Berkshire Palace, which is definitely something that B did not want to do. This mangonel is still up and about and doing so much damage. It's getting so much value. Another shot and goes down, and about 7 javelin throwers were taken down for the price of 1 mangonel. You'll take that every day of the week if you're BC, especially when this fight is happening in the range of the Berkshire Palace. I'm not sure that B's going to be able to outdo this one. I think the Mon is just going to get outscaled by this English production. They tried their absolute best to all in at this point, and there's the GGs. What a game! If you guys did enjoy this gameplay, please do like and subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. I'm trying to get to that 500 mark, so please help me get there, and then we'll move on to that next goal of 1,000. Hope you guys have a great night.